Hi, I'm Katherine, the founder of The Only Consultant and Prisma Tax Group. I specialize in tax preparation and accounting for sex workers and creators of all kinds. Thank you for tuning into Cash Content and Chaos, the podcast where money, entrepreneurship, and real life collide. Listen in to learn, laugh, and realize that you're not alone in figuring it all out.
Hey y'all, I am with Kat, aka the Only Consultant.
Hello, Athena. So good to be with you out here in New Orleans.
I am going to be asking her some questions about how dancers need to do their taxes this year and the little questions that I have.
For sure, let it rip.
Okay, so I'm going to get to the very important question. Is lip filler tax deductible?
Oh my God, I'm just a messenger. It's not a write-off.
I know. What if you wouldn't get it if you weren't a dancer?
I hear you. If it was up to me, I'd say write it off. The IRS is going to say if it's stuck to your body and if it can't come off at the end of your shift, it's not a write-off.
What about the boob job?
Okay, one time there was a boob job that the IRS allowed to be write-off. It was for Chesty Love in 1994.
Chesty Love, I love that. That was the name of the case?
Yes, but because that was her niche, that was a fetish, that was her brand, and I think the boob job was like a 56 double F. So it went to court, she got audited, and they deemed it to be like fetish size and necessary for her to earn income. So I would say if you are in corn and that is your brand, you could probably squeak it out. But otherwise, unfortunately, it's not a
So I
write-off.
changed my lip to Luscious Lip Athena for my stage set. I might be able to,
You might have a better case.
if that was my brand.
Yeah,
Lip Athena.
it'd have to be like, they'd have to be really, really juicy.
But it have to
I
be
would
really
say.
big.
Yeah, they'd have to be like a fetish size.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, so if we were to do your taxes on it, like if we said, okay, I don't know about this, and you said, I swear to God, up and down, this is a write-off, we would attach a memo to the back of it where we would both sign it, where it's like, me professionally, I'm like, hey, I don't think this is the best idea. My client swears up and down, this is absolutely necessary for her to earn self-employment income. And then we'd both sign off on it.
Yeah, because I feel like in some clubs, girls do make more money with a BBL in some clubs.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. It's the culture. It depends on where you are. And I understand that.
Or to prove that you would have to like show your bank account before and then after your procedure to.
The thing is, you can't take it off because if you're working, you have to be able to stop working. So you can't take off the BBL when you're done. Like same thing with like sew-in extensions. No. But like a wig, yeah, or like clip-in extensions, like that's where you have to think, like, can you take it off at the end of your shift?
Is
basically,
this considered a part of your costume?
The wig could be, but the costume comes off. It doesn't stay on you. So that's the thing.
So, what do you think is the biggest way for dancers to save money during their taxes this year?
Track everything to start. That's the first thing. If you don't know how much you're making, you don't know how much to save, you don't know how much you're spending. And it's very easy when you're making money in cash. It just comes in, goes out, comes in, goes out. So any sort of tracking mechanism, even if it's just like writing it down in your notes app, that's a really good place to start. And if you're tracking as you go along, those tip outs and house fees and random things you're buying are not getting lost. They're getting accounted for. So I would say in dancing more than other industries, because it's more cash based, a lot of the write-offs get missed there. There's also other things that you can do beyond just that. Like you can contribute to a SEP IRA, SEP IRA, and your contributions are excluded from your taxable income and you're setting yourself up for the future too. So that's something that I think a lot of dancers are not doing. And that's something to consider.
Now, do you recommend a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA for dancers?
It's a little bit outside of my scope, to be honest, because I'm the tax girl. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I gotta stay in my lane, you guys.
Okay. So for taxes, can you write off food you buy from the house?
That's a great question. So usually a business meal is when you are networking with someone, if you're meeting with a vendor, if you're meeting with a client, if you're collaborating. So I would not write off meals at the club, even if it's from the house mom, because like everyone has to eat if you're self-employed or not. So that would mean that like every time you were eating as someone who was self-employed, you'd write it off. So I wouldn't write that off.
That's unfortunate.
I know, but you can write off other things you buy from the house mom. Yeah. I mean, what would you buy from the house mom other than food?
Let's see. If you have to work in a club that requires pasties,
write off.
You can write off.
Yep. Because it comes off.
Clothes,
shoes. Yep.
Lashes.
Lashes.
The lashes come off. Okay, so the individual lashes you keep on, you can't write off those. But the strips you can write off because you can take them off at the end of the night.
Nails too. Like So technically, I got to tell you, no acrylic nails in press-ons. I know. But if you have a sign or some proof somewhere that your club is mandating you to have acrylic nails, which I think some clubs might.
I have worked at clubs that require you to have your nails done. So you might get taxed off the nail polish.
Yeah, you could probably be a little bit more flexible with that.
I mean, my nails come off on the pole. Look, I only got
Aha.
4 of them. Is this a tax write-off? One fell off. Now I have to get it fixed.
Okay, but this is actually a great use case. So these are Halloween nails.
Yes.
So this could be in preparation for a promotional or seasonal photo shoot. You could not sneak them, but that would be more of a case than writing off your nails every single time you're getting them done. This is like a little bit more like intentional and promotional.
And I feel like a lot of girls, they work off of we'll call it lonely hands from their phone.
Mhm.
So you can deduct half of your phone, right? Half of your phone bill if you're making money off your phone.
Yeah, whatever percentage of the time you're using your phone. I wouldn't go over 70%. Because then you should have a separate line. And if you do have a separate line, it's a write off. But dancers too. If you're texting your clients and customers and you're using your personal phone for work, I would write off a percentage of that. And same with home office, a percentage of your rent. Because you're self employed, where else are you going to track your income and expenses? You don't have an office.
Right.
Portion of your rent and utilities is a write off.
Right. Now, at what threshold of income do you recommend people to get an S-Corp? Because I feel like if you're only working part-time, let's just say if you're a dancer and you're making like, let's just say 50,000 a year, do you think that is enough money to really get an S-Corp to save you money?
Wouldn't do it. Well, an S corp is not its own entity. You need an LLC or a corporation first, and then you file a separate form to have that entity taxed as an S corporation. S corporations make sense if you are consistently profiting, which is your income minus your expenses. The profit is like 60 grand consistently. Otherwise, it's going to cost you more money to maintain. You have to pay for a separate tax return to be filed. You have to pay the payroll company to run the W-2 to you. We do have dancers that are on S corps, but you have to be able to keep up with the compliance, first of all, and know that you're consistently going to be hitting that
So you would
profit.
recommend at least over how much?
Your profit has to be 60,000. So it
And
depends on how much your expenses.
that's not your expenses.
That's after your expenses. So if you made $100,000, you have $40,000 in expenses, and you consistently have that 60,000, then I would consider it.
So if you have 60 or more left over after your expenses, you recommend doing the S-Corp.
Yep, consistently though, because obviously this industry is not always consistent either. And I see people set up an S corporation too soon, and I have to pay $2,500 a year to maintain it between the tax return and the W-2.
A lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork, and maybe it only saved you $1,200 in tax, and now you actually have to pay more to maintain it. And that, I mean, it just like double sucks. The compliance sucks, and having to pay extra for it.
Right.
It's possible. It definitely can save money in the right scenario, but I would check with an accountant first.
Right. And you're an accountant.
I'm an
That's not a check,
accountant. That's it. That's it.
What would you say? Is there anything you could write off with an LLC that you could not write off as a independent contractor?
Nope. This is a common misconception. You don't need an LLC to take write-offs. There are no tax savings to having an LLC at all. LLCs draw a line between your business and your personal assets if you were ever to be sued or go bankrupt. So for dancers, I don't usually suggest that you start an LLC unless you are concerned about anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to operate completely as your stage name, if you're traveling a lot, if you are filling out W-9s from different clubs, we're going to get a 1099, then you could get an LLC. It could also help you if you want to build business credit and but it has to be for dancing that you would spend the money on. You can't build up the LLC and then go do real estate. Like, it should stay in the same realm.
Same entity of
Yeah.
line of work.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But there's no tax savings to an LLC. It only helps if you're sued to go bankrupt. So I would say, if you're in any contracts, we talked about you being in the contract in Guam. That's a unique scenario. I think a lot of dancers are not.
Well, technically, a majority of dancers are.
Tell me more.
Dancers are in a contract unless if you work at a backwoods club. Now, I worked at several backwoods clubs that don't offer contracts. Let me just see your ID and you can work. But majority of established clubs make you sign a contract. They notice if you don't do anything illegal or if you're not doing anything, like let's just say, oh, we don't like the way she looks or whatever. If you haven't done anything illegal, I think that they have to give you a 30-day notice.
Interesting. Okay. So but that's outside of tax. This is like, now we're dancing on the legal line.
Most dancers choose to be an independent contractor in their contract. So every club will make you sign some sort of contract. With Guam was a little different because they're paying for your plane ticket. So you have to
Mm.
uphold, like, you're gonna work a certain amount of days, which the 2-month contract was 48 days, the 3-month contract was 72 days, and so that's a little bit of different
Mhm.
contracts. Most clubs, you don't have to work a certain amount of days. Now, there's some clubs you have to work 1 day a month to keep your contract. There's some clubs they tell you they want you to work 4 days a week, and there are some clubs you can work 1 day out of every 6 months and be fine. So every club is different.
Got it. So I would say to that, what's your liability in that situation? Really? They're not, I don't know. I'm just saying things. They're probably not going to sue you, right? They would
Mhm.
just fire you. So,
Right.
like, I would say if you're on Lonely Hams, I love that. I'm
I stole
taking,
that from the house mom, in New Orleans. Shout out to Snacks Mama. I don't think she
thank you,
does it.
Snacks Mama.
Thank you, Kaylee.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good one. So if you're on Lonely Hams, then your contract terms might be different. So if you're
Mhm.
signed with a management, they could have some sort of recourse if you change your password or if like the expectations aren't met and the stakes could be a little bit higher then. Or if you're engaged with vendors and photographers and assistants, it could get a little stickier. So for dancers, it doesn't hurt to have an LLC. You can have one. Depending on what state you're in, you have to pay some sort of annual fee to keep it alive. So that's something to think about too, is like the compliance of it. But
Likely to get sued. 'Cause, one of my best friends just got sued by a customer. He tipped her like $2,000, like couple thousand, maybe even 4,000 in after a VIP room. And I don't really know what he was expecting. She didn't agree to anything. I guess he just assumed that he was going to get a little extra. He didn't. So he took her to court, and he took her to court for like $1,500. And I think that it got dismissed because let's be real, it's not going to hold up in court.
no, that's a nice try though. That's
If
cute.
if you send somebody money,
It's over.
yeah,
Wow, he was so salty, took her to
he didn't
court.
even have the of the transaction off of Venmo. He didn't even have proof of the transaction. Can you believe that? That's how crazy some of these men are out here.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't know
But
if an LLC would
the
have helped
LLC
though.
wouldn't even help you because I've only heard of 2 lawsuits where a customer sued a dancer, and
Let's talk about it.
well, it was that one out of Houston, actually. Did you hear about that
I
one?
don't know. I don't think so.
It was, this man sued a Houston dancer because he lent her some DVDs in his laptop.
Not the
And
DVDs. It
yes,
hadn't been
yeah,
recently.
I think it was Harry Potter DVDs and a laptop that he gave her at the club, and he sued her saying that it did end up in a relationship, that he thought it was gonna be a relationship and that I guess she let him on or something, and he wanted his stuff back, and all those cases, I've never seen a customer win in any of these situations. The only reason a customer win is if they were legitimately there was like they were drugged, and I don't even hear about customers really being drugged, so
Yeah, if someone was like seriously hurt and there was
yeah,
proof, then like maybe there
yeah,
could be something, but I don't think any of that would stand.
but yeah, it's not gonna really. It's
Damn.
stupid. It's so stupid. Those are the 2 cases I've heard, and that just happened to my friend. She went up to the courthouse 2 weeks ago, and we were just laughing about it. I was like, "Are you serious?" And this happened 3 years ago.
How do you get her legal name to even know who to sue?
I guess Facebook.
Oh
I guess Facebook. I
no.
mean, some customers. I mean, this was in Alabama, so Alabama's kind of small.
Yeah, okay, you're less degree of separation away from people, you can find
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. So I don't. It was just crazy. It's crazy. I thank goodness I've never had a customer sue me for anything. I have got a customer mad in Guam before
Oh,
because he bought me a $50 drink and I had to go on stage. And when I got off the stage, the manager told me to go talk. Hey, come over here and talk to this table. And I totally forgot that this guy over here bought me a drink because I'm not used to, customers buying me a drink for commission that I have to like stay over there. So yeah, he got really mad. I was like, calm down. I didn't mean to. But yeah, I typically don't have customers get mad, but that was one of those cases that was kind of weird.
that is weird. Yeah, but an LLC would not have helped in that.
It it it,
In
it,
that
it
one,
wouldn't. It wouldn't.
unfortunately, no. That's beyond an LLC. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's something else.
Yeah, but so what cases would you recommend getting an LLC for dancing? Are you just if you're making us above 60,000 a year after your
Yep.
deductions?
Yep. If you're consistently hitting that, if for the last 3 years you've profited $90,000 and you're tracking everything and you're
Mhm.
on the same trajectory for this year, start the LLC, then we can make the S-Corp tax selection for you. If you're down for the compliance, it can save the right people tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow, wow.
I mean, we had a creator. We set up an LLC for her. She was making, a ton, but it saved her like $87,000 in tax.
$87,000. Wow.
Yeah.
She must have been making them that very
Yeah.
she was making
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, so for the right people, it's definitely worth it, but otherwise, yeah. It doesn't hurt to have the LLC, like I said, if you wanna have a business Venmo where it's not attached to your name, or if there's any sort of, like, anonymity benefit, um, but just track everything, and even if you're making all your money in cash, and you're making all of your purchases in cash, keep the receipts, track it somewhere streamlined, and that's really what you need to do your taxes. And do your own tracking. Don't trust the club to issue you accurate 1099s because I don't know what they're doing. I've never seen two 1099s or W-2s look the same from clubs. There's always like a nuance. People are like, okay, the 1099s for 25K, that's just for credit card tips and dances, but really I made 100,000 total and this was on Cash and Cash App.
Right. They're not gonna track your cash tips at the club. Most of the time at the club, they're gonna track your debit card sales, and if you do happen to make drink commission, maybe. But a lot of clubs nowadays, they're letting the girls handle it themselves. They don't even wanna give out a 1099. I work at several clubs that did not hand out a 1099 at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's, like, required to do, but technically you're an independent contractor, right? So at the end of the day, aren't you're responsible? They don't really have to give out a
They
1099.
should. I
They
don't do any
should.
taxes for clubs. I don't know what the hell is going on there. I think there's a lot of issues. Like,
Mhm.
and, the employee versus the 1099 conversation. I know a lot of girls on the West Coast are having issues because they're being classified as W-2s, but are still having to pay a ridiculously high house
Mhm.
fee.
Mm.
And they're just like, they're not doing the classifications the right way.
Yeah, California charges travel dance
How much did they charge you?
Airbnb. Since I was staying for over 3 months, they let me use my Airbnb as a thing.
Okay. Okay. So then they didn't consider you like an out of state person.
They didn't, not that club, but I worked at
Okay.
several clubs, and I don't remember what they charged me, but I knew it was way higher than in the South.
Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard for dancers to make money at all in California because the fees are also high and they're on a W-2 and they can't take the write-offs. Like,
Yeah,
definitely something's going on.
yeah, I feel like definitely California is one of the good places to find SDs.
Yeah. Yeah, Florida
Yeah.
too. And New York.
Yeah, I mean, really everywhere, but I'm saying in the
Okay,
California
got
and
it.
specifically in LA, you can ask any dancer. Majority of the clubs don't really have that much earning potential in my experience. I don't
Mm.
know why that is. I got a lot of guys that came in like with MTV and was like, "Hey, like I want somebody to hang out with. I'll put you on a TV show, but I don't want to spend any money." And it's like a lot of connections, I guess. But it's like, "Hey, man, you got to spend some money in the club. I don't really care what you do for a living." It was all guys coming in the club telling me what they do for a living, and I'm like,
That's
"Okay."
so LA. So LA. Yeah, no surprise there. But girls are making money in the South for sure. Girls are making money in Texas. Girls are making money in New Orleans, Florida. We see a lot of girls making money in New York, but New York seems to kind of be hit and miss.
The bartenders in New York make about the
Really?
same as the dancers. There
Really?
was a lawsuit. I heard about the lawsuit with the bartenders like stealing money or just I've always heard that in New York that you can make good money, but there's kind of maybe like a silence competition between the dancers and bartenders in certain clubs.
I think, and I have never been a dancer, this is just what I'm going off of what I've heard. I think that they will let bartenders dance more in New York,
Mm,
right? Than they will in other places.
maybe,
I think.
maybe.
I think there's more of like an overlap.
I've never danced in New York. I do want to, but it's one of those places where it's very expensive to go to. And then it's like if I'm going to make the same there as I do here, it's like you're really, it's
Yeah. How many clubs do you work at here?
I think I'm contracted at 3 clubs, but I
Oh,
mainly
okay.
just rotate between 2. Yeah, I sat on the flat iron. I
Oh
burnt my butt.
no.
Yeah.
Oh
It's still healing.
no.
It's still healing.
Oh my God. It's probably gonna get worse before it gets better. Sorry to
It did.
hear.
It did. The night that I did it, I went into work, and then the next day it was so bad. So
Oh my God.
you don't think about those things,
No, that's
that
another
can
thing.
happen
Like
in this.
disability insurance should be a conversation, I think, for dancers and like life insurance and health insurance too.
Definitely, I feel like everybody needs life insurance, no matter what age you are. Not just dancers. Everybody needs a good life insurance. Health insurance. I don't really have health insurance. I did when I had my jaw surgery, but now I just go to Columbia for my doctor's appointments, and I just save money.
Okay, we have to talk about that. So you wait to go to Columbia for like your annual checkup and stuff?
I usually go to Columbia twice a year.
And what do you do there?
Like, get my lady parts checked out, get my teeth checked out, get the primary doctor, literally everything. I feel like for all of that, like seeing 3 doctors down there, it's like $300. I was paying 300 a month, and now I just pay like 600 a year, and then the flights. But I'd rather pay that
Wow.
and then pay like the monthly.
So what happens if you get sick? You just go to like urgent care and just pay it out of pocket?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Nice. Health insurance is a tax write-off if you did want to get it. The monthly premium. That's something that a lot of people miss. A lot of people miss that write-off, and it's like you said, 300 or 400 bucks a month.
Right, right. I had a Blue Cross Blue Shield like before I had my jaw surgery, and it was like $1,500 tax write off, maybe even more,
Oh yeah,
like two grand or whatever.
yeah,
It was a good chunk. It helps.
yeah. So the jaw surgery you did here.
Yeah, I did in
Okay.
Alabama.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. So I just got kind of insurance to pay for that, and I feel like insurance in America. That's a whole different conversation, but it's kind of a scam.
It's crazy. So I was licensed in life insurance actually,
Oh, were
and I
you?
let it lapse. Yeah. So I think we're gonna get back into life and health insurance. But I mean, to be totally honest with you, a lot of that premium's commission. It's just a big
Yeah.
multi-level marketing
Yeah.
thing.
It's just like I guess it depends on what insurance you have.
Uh,
I think that not all insurances are scam, but some are.
yeah, for sure.
Can be like some are
Yeah.
just not necessary. But if you have an underlying problem or you're like me and you have to have like some type of surgery, then yeah, like if you're planning on having a baby, then yeah, definitely like most certainly. I'm just saying for your average like healthy 20-year-old, sometimes like paying like $400 a month when you can just travel to Columbia and get everything done for like a
Yeah, that's
day.
a good hack. It's a
Yeah.
good hack. But I think the dancers would be very good at selling insurance. I think if you transferred your skill set, your sales skill set to any sort of sales job, you'd kill it.
Yeah, it can make good money, and especially selling life insurance.
You can. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
But I have always thought that dancers could transfer into other industries like very seamlessly as far as sales go because it's the
mhm,
same skill set. You're probably more refined than a lot of people who are doing sales.
absolutely.
Like we were talking earlier, right? How you can like mirror someone. It's very much like emotional intelligence and
Hmm.
you're intuitive and you're kind of pivoting your pitch and your persona to who you're talking to and like that's all sales. I think that's a like a natural second job.
A lot of dancers are getting into real estate, and I wonder, like, I don't know if it works for some people. I've seen like real estate can, you might have to work a year before you can actually get paid. Sometimes it's not like always selling sunset, right? Where you start off
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I think you have to do your time, and I think that there's a big difference between dancing because you are working for a long time before you're getting paid. So, like dancers, this is what I learned from dancers that you get your tip up front, right?
It's up front,
That's why I
baby.
charge for calls now. I get my tip up front too. Thank you, girls. But if you're selling real estate, your tip doesn't come for a long time. You're
Mhm.
showing 20 houses and they might not even close. So that's a difference. So I think until you get the momentum of the business, it's going to be a slower grind. So you
Right.
could dance and do something like real estate. And then once the real estate's popping more,
Mhm.
but you could also, this is me again, never been a dancer. I'm thinking you could probably transfer some of your contacts too, depending on who your regulars are. You could leverage those in different ways.
Some of my biggest clients have sold pharmaceutical equipment,
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
pharmaceutical sales, like drugs and like legal drugs
Yeah.
and equipment.
Yeah.
They make some
You
money.
make so much money. That's another like it's not a scam, but a lot of that's going to the commission. Yeah, software sales. Software sales is like it's intangible, right? You can't even touch it. You're just like paying for this thing in the cloud and
Mhm.
they're messing with the prices. Like, oh, I'll do a deal for you here. It costs them the same thing.
Right. I would like to see more women as DJs inside the
Oh, okay.
out of 58 clubs, I've only seen one DJ that was a woman.
That's a great point.
I think it's pretty lucrative, right? Because depending on what club you work at, I just imagine like getting tipped out by 200 girls if all of them just gave you $10.
Do they mandate how much you have to pay the DJ or how does that work?
They don't, not anymore.
Ah,
They do.
okay.
It just depends. I mean, I worked at some clubs where it was like 10% taken out of all your money.
10%.
I worked at some clubs where they take 10% out to the manager and 10% out to the DJ, which is totally I always say like I start at the DJ, I start at $20. And then if I have like a really good night, then I'll tip, 50 or 100. But it depends on like how much I make. But my baseline is usually 20. But it's nobody really making me pay that. It's just like, okay, like this is kind of standard.
Okay. And who else are you tipping out?
That's pretty much it. And the house mom, if I buy food or
Okay.
stuff like that. About a house mom, even if you don't get the food or even if you don't,
Yeah, that's
do anything.
That's not fair.
But majority of the clubs I work at now, some of them don't have a house mom, but if they do, you're only required to tip if you buy food or you get something from the house mom, or if you want to. Like I don't mind tipping. I just don't like to be in a new club and like, oh, like you're first coming in and you're like having to tip all these different people that you're not necessarily wanting their services. And I didn't even have a car. I'm like, dude, like my Uber is pulling up and you want me to tip the valet.
Yeah, that's too much. What about the bar? You tip the bar?
We don't tip the bar unless we get a
Okay.
drink. I mean, and we can tell our customers, like, encourage them to tip.
Okay. And then like in what situation would you tip the DJ more? Like, I mean,
Okay,
what's
so
their
let's just you have a welcome in the club, and let's just say you walk out with like $3,000. Then you would probably want to tip up more, especially if
Okay.
they're having to stay after hours. Because let's just
Ah.
say if the club closes at 2 a.m., but the customer spends, thousands of dollars to keep the room open. Because some clubs will let the club stay open later if the customer's spending more money. So in that situation, now you have all these staff, and all the staff is having to wait on you to get out of the room because they're kind enough to wait on you to get out, and they're staying after hours.
And I think it builds like trust and goodwill too. I mean, I've worked in like the service industry. Like I waited tables for a long time. I did banquets. I worked weddings. Like
Mhm.
sometimes it's just like the culture and like,
Mhm.
just you help each other out,
Mhm.
keep an eye on each other.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's definitely good. It's definitely good. I like to usually get the tips from my customers to tip the waitresses. Like I
There
usually
you
try
go.
to like get the customers to tip them more, like instead of 20%, like babe, tip her 100%. Like encourage
Yeah.
that so you're not having to pull out of your own pocket, but at the same time you're helping everybody make more money.
Yeah. And what about security? Do they get tipped?
Security can get tipped, especially if you work at a club that picks up the money from you on the stage.
Ah, okay, there you go.
And that was, like, in Guam too. It wasn't really a requirement, but it's like they're picking up your money. You're not having to crawl on 4 legs, booty ass naked trying to pick up they fold it for you.
Mm.
Like, they deserve, to be tipped something.
Yeah, that's a service. They're making
Yeah.
your life easy. That's actually
They're
something
helping you.
tangible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about like the cashier, the door girl?
Yeah, I would say at least a minimum $5 to $10. But if you have to stay over late and they're staying later for
Mm.
you, I would say, tip her whatever, you tip her more if she's having to work after hours and waiting on your VIP room to end.
Got it. That makes sense. And so I know a lot of clients come to me and they're like, "Oh, I don't remember how much I tipped out," which makes sense because
Mhm.
money's just, going out. So you can just not record your tip outs and just record how much you're bringing home.
That's
Way easier. I mean, it depends, every club's different. They have the receipts sometimes, they know whatever, but if you made $1,000, you're walking out with 850, just say you made 850. We don't have to say anything about tip outs and that's just how much you made.
like
Have you ever felt like tax season was designed to make you stressed? Let's face it, your income doesn't show up as tidy as a W 2. Instead, it's split between cash, apps, and constant fees. Whereas most accountants see this as chaos, I in fact know that it's my expertise. Here at The Only Consultant, we meet you where you are and transform confusion into clarity and confidence. The Only Consultant specializes in accounting for sex workers and creators. I designed this firm to turn tax season from panic to power, giving peace of mind to hustlers like you. We help you stay organized, feel confident, and remain in control of your money with judgment-free support and simple systems. We handle all the complicated stuff such as tax prep, bookkeeping, and compliance support so that you don't have to. The result? The feeling of empowerment that comes from being fully in control of your bag. You don't need to wait until April. You can go ahead and start today. Simply go to theonlyconsultant.com and book your consultation now, because peace of mind should be part of your hustle too.
I find it a lot easier to claim what I walk out the door with.
Yeah.
I'm bad at math. I failed math 3 times. That's
Oh, no.
probably why I'm at the club because I'm not a math.
That's
so
it.
so whatever I count when I get home, that's what I claimed. Instead of having to do I paid this for house fee and then do all this calculations, I just whatever my end of the night money count, I'll record it. I'll write it down in my calendar, just like on the basic Google Calendar. I'll write it down and yeah, so I don't really do the deductions for the house fee or deductions for the DJ. It's like whatever I count when I get home is
Yeah, way easier. The Google Calendar is great, especially if you're traveling, because then you can just put, when your trip is, and then you know how much you're making.
yes.
I know a lot of girls like handwritten stuff. They love a journal. They love a handwritten calendar that also works. It's a little bit more work, I guess, because you have to go back and look at it in paper. But,
What's the biggest tip out you've ever seen? Can you share that?
I mean, I don't know
Like
because
an
I just see it at the end of the year.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
just see like people's, but I see, $18,000 total,
Mhm.
$25,000 in tip outs.
Now, imagine if you're working in the club and you have like 200 girls. I mean, they're all not all,
Oh.
not just dancing, but security, DJing. I know DJs get a bad rap, but there's good money to be made in that without it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we can get into that. I don't know if you need a degree anymore, to be honest,
Yeah,
in
my
any
my
industry.
mom's calling me. She's like, you need to go to school. You're getting closer to 30. You need to go back to conversation. You need to go back.
I don't know. I think the way AI is changing the world. And I think that if you are a hustler, you're a hustler and you can't learn it at school anyways. A lot of people have degrees and they don't want to work and they're not hungry and they don't have any grit. So who cares about it anyways?
Right.
I think a lot of people can get trained on the job or you can get a certification. Like, okay, to be an accountant, right? If you want a CPA, you have to have 4 years of school and 150 credit hours in accounting. So that's like a very specific education that you need to meet to get that certain certification, but a lot you don't. You could be a bookkeeper, you could take a course on QuickBooks for 40 or 50 hours and make, to start out $25 an hour up to 125, 150.
Is it illegal to do somebody's taxes if they are not licensed?
Not illegal. No,
Not illegal.
You don't have to be a paid tax preparer. You have to have an EFIN number, which means that like your firm is registered with the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a PTIN number, which means that you're registered as like a tax preparer. But there's no certifications to that. But then there's certain things you cannot do if you don't have them. So like a power of attorney, like calling the IRS and like actually making decisions on behalf of a client, like set up a payment plan for you. If I'm going to call on your behalf, I have to have a certification.
All right. So you want to be a license and have a degree as an accountant. You want to go to somebody like yourself that actually has been to school for it and everything.
Yeah, but that's not to say that it can't all be learned on the job. What I have learned as an accountant, I learned working, not in school, but that's just the nature of that industry. But I think to work in sales, I mean, real estate, it's a beautiful example. Health and life insurance, it's a beautiful certification to get without going to like a full-blown 4-year university.
Right. Unless you want to be like a teacher or a doctor, or a lawyer, nurse.
Yeah. What is going to make you money? And the way the AI is changing everything so fast. I think a lot of people were in school. They started a program 2.5 years ago. They come out, the world's changed and now their degree is void. And I hope they know how to hustle in whatever they're doing.
Right.
Which is not really something you can, well, I guess you can learn how to hustle, but I feel like you got it or you don't.
Be a people person. You can't learn to be a people person, right? You either like customer service or you thrive in it or it burns you out.
Yeah. What did you do before you were a dancer?
I was a server. I worked at a movie theater for 3 years.
Okay.
And now I was a server at like Japanese sushi restaurants.
There you go. Okay.
But I've always been working with people.
Yeah, same. Always. I mean, I've had like 30 part-time jobs. The second I knew that you could like make money, and I was driven by traveling. I just wanted to travel the world. So I'd like make $1,000, go to Europe, like 17. So I was working at a campground. I was working at a hair salon. I was like a hair salon girl, like sweeping in the floor. Hair? No. I was just like sweeping the floor. Okay. I worked at Wegmans, a grocery store. I worked all kinds of weddings and banquets.
What did you do at weddings?
I did like the banquets. Like I worked like the dinner.
Break up and take down.
Yeah, like servers at the wedding. And then I'm also a wedding officiant. So I've officiated 10 weddings.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I officiated a wedding in Jamaica on the beach, which was beautiful. That was great. And it started out, I just would officiate for friends. And then usually someone in the crowd, like everyone's getting married at the same time. So someone would be like, can you actually officiate our wedding? I was like, bet, just pay for my flight. So I did one, like in the mountains of like upstate New York in fall. It was beautiful. It looked like, you just took like a sponge and like the fall colors were so beautiful. Couple really nice backyard weddings, actually. But every wedding is really special and it sounds so corny, but like going back to like being a people person, like I'm like 2 inches away from people that are fucking thrilled.
Yeah.
And it's like the energy is amazing.
Right.
Everyone's happy, even if they're going to get divorced, whatever, but like for that moment, hope not. There was one where I officiated. It was my little sister's best friend. And it was at a golf course in the fall and it was beautiful. And like my family was there and like a bunch of friends from my hometown. And while they were reading their vows to each other and like crying, a butterfly like flew over the crowd. And like only I could see it because I was looking there and I was like, what a beautiful moment. Like I will put this in my pocket and just keep this forever. Like it's a really sacred moment. Yeah.
The butterfly's a paid actor.
Yeah. It was the monarch season, but yeah.
Really beautiful. So you just got into that because you had friends that were getting married and you wanted to officiate for your friends and then you started marketing yourself for.
Yeah. The only officiant. I'm on Facebook. Check it out. Yeah.
Consultant and the only officiant.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We'll do spicy weddings, completely judgment free. If you don't want to explain to anyone what's going on, like, I don't care. I'm here for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
spicy friendly wedding efficient, y'all.
Yeah. Hell
Like,
yeah.
don't hurt.
Yeah, I'll do a dungeon wedding, like whatever you want. Furries. I don't care. I'm
I
here
love a
for
good
it.
Vegas.
Yeah, I haven't done a Vegas wedding, but and it's like you can do it in most states. Like it's like you don't really need a certificate.
So you don't
It's
have
like
so you're not licensed just to Houston or just to Texas. You can do it everywhere.
yeah, most. Like Virginia's a funny one because it's a Commonwealth, so I couldn't do them there. But New York is easy, Texas is easy. Yeah, it's like a really special thing, and I can also do funerals. So I haven't done any funerals yet. I have a waiting list. A couple of my friends' parents are on it. They're like, I want you to do my funeral. So I think that I'm going through
Wow.
like a season of weddings, and I think there will come a time where it'll be a season of funerals.
Wow.
Yeah. But I go to funerals and just feel like sometimes the speaker just doesn't do the person justice at all. Like it's just like some generic script. Like this is someone's final send off. Like this is, the celebration of their life. And the best you had was
Mhm.
3 generic verses and it wasn't even personal at all. Did you take any time into this?
Yeah, from Chat GPT.
Yeah, yeah. ChatGPT would probably do a better job than some of these. I'm like, God, this is depressing, worse ways. I'm
thought
prepared.
weddings
I'm technically a religious minister for the Universal Church of Life. So
Wow,
it's like just
okay.
like a non-denominational spiritual
Okay.
thing. And you can't really practice for funerals, right? It just like kind of comes up as it. So it hasn't happened. I hope it doesn't happen for a long time, but like I don't know. I feel like someone has to do it, and I feel like it should be me.
It should be. You would do a good job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I can also do baptisms, but I gotta draw the line. I got no business blessing.
I've seen some
people's
crazy
children.
baptisms. Like they can't
I don't need all that. You need an
like, can't
LLC
get
for
your
that.
credit.
Yeah, no. I got no business touching anyone's kid. My friend has like joked about like I would do it if someone really wanted me to, but I'm
Mhm.
not out here saying like I'm not the
You're
one
the priest.
baptized. Yeah,
If like we're in New Orleans, if I move next year to be the officiant to get the ghost out.
please. God. Oh my God, wait. So we're in New Orleans, so I guess we can transition to a spooky conversation a little bit. But
Yeah.
I had a situation once where I had someone over at my house. I met at a coffee shop, person, meeting people out and about, had someone in my house. This was before I ever thought about like being intentional about having people in my space.
Mhm.
And I saged my house after I'd never saged it. And I just bought sage and just did what I thought you should do with it. And then I had a black fly infestation, like in The Exorcist, like hundreds of flies, like in the windows, on my desk, in my fridge, on my bed. And then they all died. And then I had dead flies everywhere. And it was like for a while. So
Where was this?
I was living in Virginia at the time.
So you just happened to do that, and then all the
Well, I felt like that girl was
flies.
weird to me. I felt like she was weird to
Creepy.
me. Yeah, I felt like someone came in my house. I don't know, I was 27 and a half. Everyone talks about like the Saturn return time in your life. And
Mhm.
I wanted to like roll my eyes and say whatever. But then, yeah, I saged with intention to get her energy out of my space and had like hundreds of flies everywhere. So, yeah, that was
Did
kinda
they
weird.
go away eventually?
Yeah, I had to hang up like fly tapes, I guess, like all that. But it took a while. Like it was not just like they're in and out. Like it was like I'm living with these flies. They were like
Or
around.
energy she brought something into your house, or you felt the need to have to do that, and then obviously, it wasn't in your head.
No, that made me view the world differently after that. I was like, like you're spiritual. I grew up Catholic, whatever. But I was like, no, something's going on. And I tapped into it and I can tap into it. And that shit was real.
What was your first, like, I guess, paranormal situation that you've been through? That's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really scary. Yeah. But then I also felt like kind of powerful after. I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
did something here. But like, I should be careful and also like tap into that sometimes, I guess. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Where do you stand on all that stuff?
I just wouldn't play.
Specifically, the Ouija board you don't mess with?
Yeah, some people think it's a game, but I don't know. I've never had any personal experiences with it. It's just my grandma always said, don't do it. It can open the doors to dark energy.
What about tarot?
Even though I do it, but I did get a tarot card reading when I was drunk at the park, and nothing happened. Man, it kind of seemed more like entertainment than it was like actually like this is real. I feel like tarot card. I'm not a expertise in tarot card, but it seems like majority of them are more entertainment and not really like bad energy.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the person who's pulling the cards.
Mhm.
So I've done tarot a couple times and like had like a standard experience. And then I did one in the back corner of a rave, which like I don't think you should be messing with that stuff in certain spots.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was like 30 minutes. It shouldn't be that long. She kept pulling cards and like fishing for things, and her energy was weird. And I feel like she like hexed me for like a few weeks. Like I feel like she like jinxed me. Like all the things that I said, like, yeah, the relationship is this, and like kind of like the evil eye, right? Like I said, all these things were like going one way and I said too much. And I feel like it made things weird. Yeah.
That's a long time to do a reading, 30 minutes on a tarot card.
It should be quick and dirty. It should be like just.
Yeah, like 15 minutes
Yeah.
tops.
I did a tea reading today.
A tea reading?
Yeah.
What's that?
I've always wanted to do one. So it's where I thought you drink the tea, but he like had the tea, like loose leaf tea. And then he handed it to me, and I like went in a circle with it and like thought about my intentions. And then he dumped it into like a napkin and then pulled it back over. And then like whatever the loose leaf tea, like however like the leaves had fallen and placed meant one thing or another.
Wow. How was that?
It was good. I didn't tell him anything about myself. I came in without, as a walk-in. They don't have my email address, nothing. I think he said some things that did make sense. Like, for example, I've been thinking about getting more certifications. And he's like, I see education in your future. Like next year, you have to focus on education. Right now, your business is who knows you. He said, everyone already knows you, but now it should be more about what more you know. And I was like, how the hell would you have known that? Like, that's kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I wanted to do something while I was in New Orleans.
Tea readings. So it's not palm readings. They don't touch you or
No.
anything. It's just by where the leaves land in the tea.
Yeah. He also did hand readings, and he also did like crystal ball readings and psychic readings. I've tried them all. I've gone to a medium. I've had one good experience. One, like, they were like trying to call in like a dead dog. I'm like, you're really like
a dead dog.
Yeah, like you're really reaching here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of into it. I'm open to it.
Yeah. Psychic reading one time.
How was that?
When my grandmother passed away, this was like, I want to say this was like 2 years ago. It was too real for me. Her name is Alyssa. I think it was Alyssa. I think it's Alyssa on Instagram, and she went viral for her psychic reading post talking about like, you don't die, you just transition, and it got like over 1 million views, and that's where I found to me before she passed away. And it freaked me out so bad I just started crying, and I just wanted to get off the phone immediately.
It was on the phone?
Yeah, it was over the phone. She didn't even feel, how do you feel my energy? She's like, I can feel your energy over the phone. It was just too good. The psychic readings where it's like, I came here for entertainment, but now it just got too real.
Yeah, see? That's what I mean. Something's up.
Yeah.
There's something more to it.
The thing she said, she's like, I can't breathe. She was having very bad respiratory issues. And the last thing she said was, she's like, I can't breathe. I love you. And unfortunately, that was the end of her phone call. And then she was like, she's having trouble breathing. And it was just too much for me. It was just too real. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, yeah, that's spooky. That's not
it's creepy. And then you have to wonder, I was like, how do you know this? Like, are you like, how do you know the explanation for how you know this? And it just leads to one question after the other.
Yeah, because then you go down the rabbit hole. Like, is it science? Is it spiritual? Is it religion? Is it ghosts? Are you haunted? Are you possessed? Am I possessed? Yeah. Are we all insane? Like,
yeah, we all
what? Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm here for it. And I also like experience different religions, which like we don't have to get into religions too much. I was like raised Catholic, and then I went to a Baptist church in high school, which like had some culty vibes, but I'm like happy I experienced it.
Yeah.
But then since then, like I go to, I've been to Jewish Passover Seders. I've been to Muslim Eid parties. My boyfriend is Hindu.
Wow.
Diwali. Yeah. Oh, it's
never heard of that.
Yeah, it's the festival of like the lights, like of light and like prosperity. It's like the Indian New Year. So like experiencing that. But yeah, I'm definitely open to experiencing other cultures and religions, but then sometimes you touch like, I don't know, spooky stuff.
If you speak, you'll get it back. So what you're looking for, you might find it. So be ready, and don't be surprised when you find something if you're out searching for it.
I totally agree. And your intentions and your energy and like your internal, like where, like the space that you are in plays a lot into it. But like, I feel like if someone does something weird to you, it's like ink, like it stays on you, and it takes a while to get off. And it's like, yeah. But then like the manifestation part, like the law of attraction, also so real.
Does tax season leave you anxious, sorting through receipts, or worried you've missed something important? You're not alone. And that's exactly why I created the only consultant in Prisma Tax Group. My goal is to meet you where you are and give you judgment-free solutions that make financial management simple, clear, and stress-free. At The Only Consultant, our services go beyond just tax preparation and filing. Taking the confusion out of money starts with the basics, aka education and bookkeeping. We can track your income and expenses, which means you'll never have to scramble for receipts ever again, and you will fully understand what is going on. Additionally, I offer monthly subscriptions and ongoing guidance. With monthly support, you'll always have an expert in your corner, giving you real-time answers, steady organization, and the peace of mind that lets you focus on your hustle and not the paperwork. We specialize in tax preparation and filing for sex workers and creators. When it's time to file, I handle your federal and state returns, maximize your deductions, and make sure the right forms get submitted for your unique income streams. The benefit? You save time, avoid mistakes, and walk into tax season feeling confident. Last but not least, we provide compliance and business consulting. So whether you need help setting up your business, staying compliant, or navigating something intimidating, I've got you covered. Instead of second guessing, you'll feel confident, supported, and ready to grow with someone who understands your hustle. And here's the best part. You don't have to do it all. You can choose the services that fit your needs right now, or let me and my team at The Only Consultant handle everything from start to finish. Either way, you will receive the clarity, respect, and financial confidence that you deserve. So if you're ready to feel in control of your finances, whether it's this tax season or all year round, head to my website, theonlyconsultant.com, and click contact. Or you can always find me on social media, Instagram and TikTok at _only_consultant. Click the link in my bio and contact me there. We look forward to meeting with you.
It's real. I mean, scientifically, it is real because we're all energy, right? So it can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
I grew up pretty religious. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
different culture in itself then. So you're like
Yeah.
turn or burn kind of
Yeah,
vibe,
like
right?
no sing, can't even say, "Oh my God," because that's
Yeah.
the Lord's name in vain. Very strict. Well, not like very strict, but just certain things.
Yeah.
Certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's particular.
And Catholic's pretty strict, right?
Yeah, we weren't really that strict. My dad's Protestant, my mom's Catholic. My parents, they're like, okay, the kids have to have some sort of religion, like whatever, they can be Catholics. We just went
Mhm.
to cross off the box. Like it wasn't really anything. But I would say I didn't understand the Bible or really
Mhm.
interpret it all until I went to the Baptist church. Because in Catholic church, you don't really read the Bible like that.
Really?
No.
Really? I didn't know
It's
that.
not even in the pews sometimes.
6 years, every week we'd have to memorize a new Bible verse.
Yeah, and you know all the books, right? You know the stories and the Old Testament, the New Testament, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know it now because of that, and I'm really happy to have a better understanding of the Bible because I think that it is relevant if you're religious or not. Like a lot
Mhm.
of things are tied to it, and there's a lot of spooky things that happen in the Bible too.
Yeah. It's like, what is the metaphysics?
Yeah, yeah, Revelation. I'm like, I can't read this. I'm getting scared. I don't know. I don't know about this.
Yeah, especially that book is can be scary.
Yeah,
And with your culture, your background, nobody talks about you can experience religious psychosis or guilt for doing certain things, and nobody talks about that.
let's talk about it. So, I mean, religious guilt, Catholic guilt. I'm familiar with it. Okay, that's Catholic guilt. I know, but what about religious psychosis?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when I first started dancing, it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm not living like how God wants me to. Am I gonna, you're living in sin, you're gonna go to hell. Oh my gosh, and I took some edibles before in LA and it gave me religious psychosis. I felt like, oh my gosh, what if the rapture happens and I'm not a part of it because I'm like it's seriously like it can turn it like because it's like all that like pushing in your ear like if you're not this or you're not a certain way you're not going to be accepted and it turns into a form of trauma almost.
Yeah, it's drilled into you.
Mhm.
So I mean, I started at the Baptist church later, in high school. So I don't know. I always felt like I was kind of a visitor there. Like it wasn't drilled into me since kindergarten. Like I don't know the Bible inside and out like a lot of my
Mhm.
peers did.
Right.
But I could see that culture. Like
Yeah.
if you were brought up with it, it's definitely it's a lot to deconstruct. It's really far in your subconscious, probably forever. I don't know how you
Yeah.
undo it. Do you still have
Yeah,
those
yeah,
thoughts?
I still believe in God and Jesus, but I'm just more of everybody is sins in a way.
Yeah.
But I'm not stressed out about it like I used to be. Like I used when I first started dancing, I was kind of stressed about what people would think or oh I'm not gonna get a big mansion in heaven because I'm living a life it's like you have to think about what's instilled in kids' minds. They have to sing good behavior or just follow the Bible and you'll you know it's just interesting. It's interesting. I feel like with people, if they grew up not religious, they don't really know how much religious trauma can affect somebody that might not necessarily want to follow the traditional way of life when they get older.
Yeah, and it's not so much even what the Bible says, it's like your pastor's interpretation of it and like
Yeah.
how they're preaching at you about it. And then it like kind of trickles down. So it's like kind of gets a little bit convoluted, which I think if you were to decide to be religious and read the Bible, you want to read it on your own and come with your own for any religion, for anything that you want to get into.
And then you have experiences like you went through with you saged your house, you had a creepy person come over, or somebody's the energy, they were bad and you saged it and now you have flies all over your house. That makes you think about things. It makes you think, right? Like about, okay, let me pray. I hadn't prayed in 3 months and now I'm about to pray.
Yeah, but and you get into some situations too, even myself, like, you're like, start the pandemic. I thought we were all gonna die. I had like accepted the end of the world, and
Wow.
I was alone in my apartment, isolated completely, working for the freaking government. I moved down to DC with my boyfriend. We broke up as soon as we got there, and now I'm like randomly in Virginia by myself, and like I was not really religious at that time, but
Isolation can cause like not saying you had a psychosis, but just being isolated in general. It can they say that isolation is worse for mental health than eating like 5 Big Macs a day for your body. Like just isolation, not talking to people. That's really bad for
oh,
your
I'm not
mental
the same.
health. Yeah.
I'm not the same. This is not how I started. Like, really. It's really. But like, and
Oh,
that's how I coped with it by starting this business, actually.
wow.
Yeah. Because I was by myself praying to every god I could think of. I was doing weird shit. Like I printed out all the pictures of everywhere that I traveled and like hung them on the wall. And I was like, okay, like if I die, at least like I saw the world, like I can have peace in that. And then like
Get COVID?
I didn't. No. But the guy I was dating at the time, his mother did, and unfortunately passed like very early. So COVID was very
Wow.
real to me and my little circle in like May of 2020. And I was working for the intelligence community, which is like they were also scrambling my brain, and I was living by myself. So yeah, I was like, well, I think I have like two options here. One, jump off the balcony because we're all going to die anyways. Or I guess since I have nothing to lose, I'll just try to start a business. So that's when I had all this time on my hands. I was just like digesting YouTube videos, learning everything I could. I had only worked as an accountant for like 2 years. I didn't have a lot of professional experience, but I don't think that I would have been as open-minded to working with sex work, to be honest, if it wasn't for that experience. Because
Really?
I had no exposure to it. I didn't even consider sex work ever. But I just realized that the world got flipped on its head in a way that I was like, nothing's going to be as it was. Like, this is going to be totally backwards. So as soon as I heard about OnlyFans, I was like, you know what? This is probably going to take off. This is probably going to be something else.
Did your mindset on sex work change after you started talking and meeting sex workers?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd only met one dancer before this. I'd only been to a strip club twice, once in Canada and once after April 15th tax day party. And I met this girl, Jersey, shout out, my first dancer friend. We still follow each other. Yeah. And she was such a pleasure. She was so nice and friendly. You think, oh my God, like who are strippers? But then I started working with OnlyFans models. And then right after that, it was dancers that found me next. And everyone was so kind and cool. And I instantly vibed. And I was like, I think this is my tribe. This is my people.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's so cool and honestly very respectful and creative and similar to me. Like I don't really fit the mold for an accountant, really. Like
Not like some old man in the office that doesn't really have a personality, just boring. You're not any of that.
no. And I was working in accounting firms and I felt like I was stuck inside of an Excel spreadsheet. And I was like, I used to be creative. Like I like, played the violin. Like I used to like do things. And then I met sex workers and I was like, oh my God, like you guys are doing things. Like I felt like re-energized and like re-inspired. And then like I meet people out in the wild and we vibe and like, okay, these are actually like very cool people. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just watch the movies you see on TV about the dancers and everything. Give us a bad rap. Like hustlers
Yeah.
gave us a bad rap. Like we're not out here drugging men. The majority of dancers are cool people or honest or like yeah, sure we have the fantasy role, but for the most part, it's not like what you see on TV.
No. And a lot of people are actually shy and quiet. And it's not what you would think at all. Yeah, I'm really grateful for the experience. And I feel like as a civilian, I don't think a lot of civilians have this exposure and understanding of sex work. And I've thought about going into it, of course, but you have to know who you are. I'm not a sex worker. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, I'm gonna, take some pictures of this fat ass. No, No, you're not. You're not. No, you're going to do everyone's taxes. Like that's who you are. That's fine.
Yeah, totally. You just have to, like I said, always stay true to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like in this business, I can be true to myself and still be here with everyone,
Absolutely.
which is
Yeah.
cool.
It's so important that dancers and creators and entertainers have a safe place that they can do their taxes and feel comfortable talking about their line of work, because I'm sure there are so many dancers out there that avoid doing their taxes just because they don't feel like they want to walk an H&R Block and have the conversation and be judged by some old person or like some person that doesn't know anything about dancing, and they don't want to feel a judgment. So sometimes they avoid doing their taxes because of that.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I had no idea either. I came out here like super naive. I was like, yeah, the taxes for hot girls. And everyone's like, banking discrimination. We're all getting sexually harassed. Like there's all these
Mhm.
things happening. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
but I didn't even think twice. I was like, okay, well, here I am. This is fine. But it took the trust of clients to first trust me, which is why I try to be very authentic online in conversations like this, because you have to know me and trust me. Find me on TikTok to give me your social security number to do your taxes. Like,
Right. And there are a lot of scammers probably trying to take advantage of dancers. You have to be careful. I've heard of dancers getting scammed from the PP loans. Guys telling them, I'll get you a PP loan, and now the government's after them for $20,000 and they didn't even get the money. Somebody got their
Yep.
social and just messed them up. It's hard to trust people.
yeah, I heard from a pocket of dancers in Florida, I think, and I think this happens a lot where someone's boyfriend will say, "Oh, I'll do everyone's taxes." And they focus on the single moms because they get the child tax credit, and then the money is getting deposited into his account first, and then, he pays them out after. So like they're completely getting scammed. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's a legal industry. And why do strip clubs exist? Because people go to them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
someone's paying for this. And then you're gonna just turn your back on the whole industry.
Yeah. When I was 19, I speak for myself because I went into H&R Block to do my taxes, and the lady was just not nice. She wasn't kind. She was just like looking at me like I was like not even really human, like I was subhuman, really. Like she didn't even want to do it. Like she was looking at me like I don't even want to help you kind of attitude, and I just walked out. And it was hard to find somebody that was able to do my taxes, and I felt
I've heard that from a lot of people. That's like a very common thing. The lonely hams is a little bit different because you get the 1099. It's from Phoenix Enterprise, like a little cleaner. Dancing, if you're making 100 grand in cash, like it's just a different situation. It takes a different understanding too. Like I didn't know how tip outs worked or like what a VIP room was. Like it takes a professional to also like have to learn and understand the industry too.
Absolutely. You have a great niche because I don't really know anybody who markets themselves as like a spice, like there's a spicy accountant, right?
Uh-huh.
But very few. Not a lot of people are online broadcasting their services for as creators and adult entertainment. That's very.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't, or they're in it for like weird reasons. Like I said, there's like a couple like dudes who are out here, and it's like, I don't know about all that.
How big is tax dances? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah,
I don't even, just because you said that, you're unqualified to me.
exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of pervs out here, which is something that we also consider when we're hiring people. Well, I do, right? Because I had to expand the team eventually. So I'm like, how do I continue to protect my client base when I have to trust other people on the team too? So background check everyone. Everyone gets sensitivity training. We would sit through like a meeting with Queens of the Underworld, Ramina, and I'd let her just like rip into everyone. I was like, test them, like make them sweat, like say something. And one year we had a girl quit after she called me. She's like, I didn't realize this is what it was. Like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I'm like, okay, thank you. That was the intention here. And like, you should go then.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, what are they being grilled about? Like, or like, what are they just like questions? Is it like personal questions or?
yeah, kind
Yeah.
of. She's like, why do you want to work with sex workers? What do you know about sex work? What do you know about trafficking? Like, what do
Yeah.
you have any exposure to this? Like, do you care? Like, I don't know. She would just, again, like just being emotionally intelligent.
Right.
And we also do a human trafficking course. So you can see the signs of trafficking in someone's bookkeeping. If you open up your QuickBooks and they have $1 million in Zelle from different people and the $1 million is going out in Zelle, that's a big red flag, like things like that. So more to consider as far as like compliance goes, but worth it.
Wow. Yeah. You don't even think about, or like, I don't think about that kind of stuff. Like, as far as people would get into accounting for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Because we see everything. We have your
Yeah.
social security number and your stage name.
Mm.
So that's a big risk right there. Like if I know all of your personas, some people, we never find out anyone's name until it's like the last second. Like, wait, you're actually who? Like, I thought you were this person and this person. Like, it's like 3 names down. But I get the risk. Like, it's a big deal. It's bigger than the discretion that we would have to carry with vanilla clients. Like, the stakes are higher here. So that's been.
You're more likely to be audited with the Schedule C, right?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, more so than an S-Corp. But but everyone.
Any dancers that get audited sometimes, or is it not? You don't have.
I haven't seen anyone get audited. I've had people come to me after they get audited. I have people that come to me when they owe, they haven't paid their taxes and they owe a bunch and there's a levy out or a lien out or they're garnishing their wages, something like that. I've seen people come to us after they're audited, knock on wood.
Have you seen tax forgiveness in dancers before where they were given forgiveness with their taxes? No, they're like, you're going to pay up. Yeah.
Yeah. There is forgiveness, but they're going to audit your whole personal financial statements. They're going to look at all of your assets, your bank accounts, everything you own. They're going to see how much money you're making currently. I even had someone who, like, his wife was in the hospital and we called the taxpayer advocate line. And they were like, we'll think about it. And I don't think that anything ever happened with it, unfortunately. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You haven't experienced any audits with dancing.
No.
Good.
The platform itself, the Lonely Hams one, there was something going on with that where the IRS was looking into people who were receiving 1099s, but because they were looking at the platform, not because they were looking at the individuals. So that was something too.
Yeah, I was about to say OnlyFans is pretty straight up about stuff. Like they give it. Sure, they already take the taxes out of that, right?
They take their cut.
Oh, they take their cut.
Yeah, they take the 20% comes out instantly.
Yeah, you have to do your own taxes, but they take their 20%.
Yep, exactly. So it's like the same basically. So you're doing your tip outs and your house fees up front before you get any money into your account. Otherwise, the whatever you paid the platform would be a write-off, but it happens.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
that was some good information.
This was good. Yo, this was
really
better
good.
than the original planned podcast. This was a better conversation. It was more authentic, but
Yeah.
because you interviewed me this time. She said, actually, we're going to flip the script. I'm interviewing you now.
I feel like a lot of girlies didn't know how to do their taxes this year. I had a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I learned a lot.
So now you guys know. All right. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to Cash Content and Chaos. If you had fun, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who would love it too. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at TikTok at _only_consultant. And I'm also on X at the Only Consult. I will be back with more real talk on money, entrepreneurship, and life to remind you that you don't have to figure it out all alone. Be well, guys.